let's take a look, because there's the example in the lies we tell ourselves. So a woman had an autistic son, and he would oftentimes, if I recall correctly, would cross the street and he almost got hit by a bus. And she says, "You've got to pay attention to the bus. You've got to," she was saying he has to pay attention. Okay. Now, we can understand that she was quite anxious about her son. We can understand that she'd be angry with him. But then we have to kind of take a look. When she says, "You have to pay attention. You've got to notice this." Then we notice, oh, actually, the primary defense is denial. She's saying, you, my autistic son, must become not autistic. So in that sense, the primary, so it's important for us to see, we can see primary defense is denial through fantasy. She's saying, I can't face the reality of my son's autism. So I ask him to be not autistic. I ask him to become my fantasy son who doesn't have autism. So the primary defense is denial. Don't be autistic.
How did you realize that?
Pardon me?
How did you realize that? That it's a defense, it's not a real anger.
Well, if you ask your autistic son not to be autistic, where would that be in the triangle of conflict? Would that be anger? Would that be anxiety? Or would that be defense?
It would be defense, but she didn't mention to his son's situation, did she?
Yes. Remember, in that thing, she says, you've got to pay attention to the bus. He's got to pay attention to the bus. He's got to change.
Okay. In our reality, okay. He couldn't. Okay.
Right. So in that sense, you've got to change. And we can understand she was an aging mother. She knew she was going to die soon. And it's like, you need to become non-autistic so I don't have to worry about you after my death, right? Very understandable. But we first had to help her see that there was denial through fantasy. And then her anger, is also based on her denial. If I get angry enough at you, will you become non-autistic?
Okay.
So sometimes you see we're having to see where is the patient on the triangle of conflict.
Yes. Sometimes it's not easy. Can I bring my example from my patient? Oh, sorry,
right.
I interrupted you.
First of all, I want to validate you. You said sometimes it's not easy. Okay, good. But this is a very good thing that we're seeing, that you have to see sometimes, yes, there's a clear stimulus and the patient is angry at someone who treats them badly. In that case that we just saw, the patient was actually engaging in denial through fantasy. And so we had to address her denial first, because once we addressed the denial, then she had to face a tremendous grief over the fact that her son was autistic. He would always be autistic, and she would have no control over what happened to him after she passed away.